live. I've been with you right. So 1 second, folks. I'm just trying to clean up my camera here. It's not working. Well, it is working, but it's not working the way I want it to work. Anyway, guys, we are live. Of course, looking forward to Blackburn Rovers' return to EFL action, taking on Stoke City at Ewood Park. And we'll get to that in a second, of course. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Of course, your one-stop shop for Rovers content, Championship content, World Cup content later this year. And, of course, a big shout out to Blue Rose Capital, sponsoring the pre-game show right here, right now. And if you haven't done so already, vote. Give the guys a night out in Manchester. Vote your socks off. If you voted already, open up a different browser and vote again. If you've also voted on a different browser, open up your phone and vote again. I know they're a bit sneaky. They try to monitor your votes. You can't technically triple vote, but there are ways around it. So do it. Vote. Jacob is with us. He is driving, so we will get to him in a second, of course. But we are awaiting team news shortly. That'll be with us in about 9 minutes. Get your score predictions in the house. We have a few on Twitter. I can read them out to us. Well, I'll read them out to you in a minute. But let's try and grab a moment with Jacob. He's there. Can you hear me, Jacob? Everything okay?
Yeah, I've parked up now, Dirk, so I can hear you all right.
Good stuff. Hopefully everyone else at home can hear me and I didn't leave the microphone muted. It is a tricky game. Gary Gunner's Goy Pride. He's chatting in the chat there. So yeah, of course, busy week. It's just been busy week in general this week with it was the cup action this week, wasn't it? It was Bradford. It just feels like a lifetime ago right now as I think about it. But also some developments in the transfer market as well. But let's talk about the game first and foremost. It is Stoke City, and unfortunately, they sacked their manager. I was feeling so confident on Monday, Tuesday with Michael O'Neill in charge. I felt we would have been much favoured for this game, but the sacking happened, and fortunately they've not appointed their new manager. But anyway, Jacob, what's your overall take of this game, and of course with the developments that have taken place this week?
Well, likewise, I was very confident thinking about this game. I thought it'd be one we could use to bounce back after really two disappointing results. Obviously, getting beat 3-0 twice on the road. So I thought coming back home against a team that's, been one of the poorest since the season started, I thought it'd be a good chance to bounce back. But likewise, I'm a big believer in, if the players get a manager sacked, they'll suddenly turn up, won't they, for the first game after it happens, play the socks off, kind of show what they're all about. And yeah, I'm a bit worried going into this game today. I'm nowhere near as confident as I was, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially when you look at the some of the players that was brought in under Michael O'Neill. I want a big shout out, of course, before we get into it. Alexander Haben is watching in wherever he lives, down near Woking Way. So a big shout out to Haben watching. But yeah, they've got some tasty little players, haven't they? Stoke City. Dwight Gale was brought in, young Liam Delap, another little talented player to boost their strike force. I think their main area of concern is the defence. So hopefully Diaz, who could be playing his last game for Blackburn Rovers today, technically he could squeeze in another one on Wednesday if he can hang on for a little bit. But what do you think? Do you think this is his last game in a Rovers shirt, or do you think there might be one more, or maybe even more than one more?
I feel like this is probably going to be the last one. I mean, obviously it's at home as well, so give him a little bit of a send-off. I mean, if the rumours are to be believed with Everton, you don't think he'd be playing on Wednesday, obviously, because he'd be cutting it so far at that point to the deadline day. You'd think if he were on his way out, he probably wouldn't play anyway, but I can't see him staying, unfortunately. So yeah, I do believe this is the last game of Diaz at Ewood.
Well, it's definitely his last game. Well, I wouldn't say definitely. I would say 99.9% definitely his last game at Ewood. Yeah, the next game will be Blackpool, and we'll talk about Blackpool in a minute because there's going to be some little bit changes to the watch along for that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But so moving forward into this week, fortunately for Stoke though, I know this is going a little bit off topic, but of all the managers that potentially are going to come in, and it looks like it's going to be a done deal, if not a done deal already. Alex Neil coming in. What is your take on that for a third eye point of view? For a replacement, I think that's A grade, and I would have loved to have again. I know Jon Dahl Tomasson's come in and he's brought a fresh persona and fresh ethos to Rovers, but I'll tell you what, Stoke might have won the lottery here with that appointment. What about what's your take on Alex Neil as potential Stoke manager?
Yeah, it does seem like it's pretty much a done deal, that, doesn't it? Seems he's going for the money. From what I've seen on Twitter, apparently he's not been on that much money at Sunderland, and also the length of the contract isn't that big. So it kind of seems like, to me, it seems like a bit of a sideways step, if I'm honest. I think Sunderland have started the season well. I think obviously they got a great fan base, much more than Stokes, but yeah, it just seems like a bit of a mercenary kind of deal going for the money. But personally, I don't know. Obviously, he had that good time at Norwich, but at Preston, he flirted with the playoffs a couple of times, but never actually made it, did he?
No.
So I don't know. I don't rate him too highly, but yeah, I think he's a decent manager at this level. My mate said it might be a blessing in disguise for Sunderland. He thinks they can upgrade. He doesn't rate him at all. Thinks he's mid-table sort of manager. So I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, I actually chatted with a guy from the Bear Pit TV of Stoke channel this week, and we talked about potentially Tony Mowbray taking over at Sunderland. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, it makes sense, wouldn't it? Obviously, towards the end of his tenure at Rovers, he talked about obviously not really being able to see his family and stuff like that because of managing Blackburn, and obviously he is based in the northeast. So it would make sense. Obviously he's a Middlesbrough legend, so I'm not sure whether it'd go down a treat with the Sunderland fans. And there's a bit of a rivalry there, obviously, with Middlesbrough. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the way Sunderland want to go, I feel like they could probably get a better manager than Mowbray. I think personally, if Mowbray was to get a championship job, it'd probably be a team that's struggling, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I think the obvious connections are there. Just whether or not, like you said, Sunderland decide to go for that. And I think if they want to go the cheap option, no disrespect to Tony Mowbray, but I think he would be the one, and I think it's made for him, as in locality wise. But yeah, there are some good managers out there. Would Sunderland, like if Alex Neil has gone to Stoke, I would be if I was Sunderland, especially with the fans that you could have in there. Sean Dyche screaming at me there. That would be that could be a monster pickup. I've not seen any links. I've kind of not really been following the developments of that, but. Anyway, regardless, so we'll move on to of course potential transfers coming in this week. We've been frustrated a little bit with trying to get some defenders in, but it looks like we might be getting a two for one. We buy one, we get one free coming at you the next couple of days. Dominic Hyam, of course, highly coveted by Coventry. 26 years of age, potentially coming in 1.5 million with add-ons. What is your take on that potential bit of business? And then we'll talk about the other one in a minute.
So it seems like a great coup, in my opinion. Obviously, we're kind of taking advantage of the situation that's currently happening at Coventry. Obviously, with the pitch, they've not been able to play any games. What's going to cost them in the long run, if you ask me, because obviously they're going to have such a build-up of fixtures, playing twice a week for probably the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, it happens to all clubs that obviously are in these sort of situations. The same happened with Wigan, and obviously he's their captain, so comes with good pedigree. I think he's the right sort of age that we need, because there's not too many players who are kind of in that prime sort of age range. So yeah, it seems positive to me. And at 1.5, I don't think we can be upset with that at all.
No, it's good. I was a little bit worried about the early figure, which it might rise to that. But if it rises to that, then hopefully that's because of success, and if we are successful with the grand vision of dare I say it, Premier League, but then I'll be here. You know what? Take that extra couple of million is fine. And then of course the buy one get one free. The free is Stephen Corker. Formerly of Spurs, and a guy who had it all. He had the potential to go the distance, and it kind of went off the rails with mental side of the game. He seems to have got himself back on sort of the right track, and he's made a good recovery out in Turkey. So what is your take on that? We'll talk about the team news in a minute. That should be live in a second. But what do you think about Stephen Corker coming in?
I don't mind it too much. I think, again, it's age range we kind of need, more of an experienced head, which, obviously we don't have at the minute. I think he would be back up. Don't think he'd be starting by any means. So I don't mind that too much. But again, it depends what sort of wages he's on. If he's commanding 15k a week, what's our cap? Then it might not be worth it. But like you mentioned before off stream, he's a left footer, which could be handy, obviously. So I don't mind it too much. Whether we get Van der Berg, I think, is the deciding factor in that one. But from what I've heard, Van der Berg's absolute quality. So I'm not sure whether I'd prefer to have our own player in Cork or get a loan in of Van der Berg's quality.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It will be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting close to the window next week. So we'll see. Rumor has it 3 deals potentially coming in. And then, it looks like Dominic Hyam, maybe another defender, and maybe an attacker. And again, what's going to happen in the years? So the team news is in. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit crazy. Let's see if I can get the full graphic here of the team news. So there it is. Kaminsky between the sticks. Get this. It's a little interesting. We've got Ranky Costello starting. Phillips Ayala. Morton, Pickering. So I guess it's Ranky Costello, Pickering at left back, Phillips Ayala, Morton, Travis, Buckley, Dack, Smodic, and Diaz starts. No Gallagher, no Britton. Who else is missing? Hayden Carter on the bench, Hedges on the bench, Dolan, Vale, Wharton, the other Wharton, Adun, and Pears. What do you think about that?
That's really surprising. It seems like JDT's kind of sent a message out after those 2 really poor performances, I guess. A bit ruthless there, obviously. Dropping Gallagher, who's, only scored 1 goal in 6 games, is it? Something like that. Which, I don't disagree with at all, to be honest. I was really excited from his pre-season, but unfortunately it seems like more of the same from Gallagher. Love Dak coming into the team. We can get 60 minutes out of him, I'd guess, and then get him subbed off. Hopefully he can get a goal. Obviously, he scored 2 goals in 2 games in the Cup. And Britain's a weird one. I mean, I don't think Britain's been too bad, to be honest. Even in those 3-0 defeats, I don't think he was one of the worst players by any means. But I think Joe Rankin Costello was quite good against Bradford, so he's earned his opportunity, it seems like, and I appreciate JDT doing that. If you put a good performance in, you get your chance, I guess.
Yeah, well, I agree. I agree with you 100%. But it does. I just looking here, it does appear that Britton and Gallagher may have missed out through injury, or that could be just smoke and mirrors.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know. So, of course, I'm going to try and get the Stoke team news here. From what you know of Stoke, is there anybody that you're weary about the most, and hoping that they don't start?
I think the 2 names you mentioned before, really. Gale, obviously, very proven at this level. Whether he's still got it remains to be seen, I guess. And Delap's obviously a signing and a half. So, yeah, he comes with good pedigree, doesn't he? So, well, I mean, like you said, I think that's the main threat. Hopefully, Phillips is up to the challenge again today. And we'll just have to be good going forwards ourselves, I guess, to try and outscore him.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got the team news in front of me, and it is much change. Much change. It looks like the caretaker, Dean Holden, is coming here, and he's decided to put his stamp on the team and maybe try to throw a little message to their owners before he goes. So Bursic has been the regular starter between the sticks. He doesn't even start. Bonham comes in, Wilmot at the back, Taylor, Flint, Fox, Clucas, Baker, Thompson, Brown, Delap, and Gale. Very, very attacking. I was hoping to see the old man Jagielka's on the bench, unfortunately. Smallbone, of course, a highly anticipated youngster from Southampton, has been starting regularly. He's on the bench. Bradley Wright Phillips, formerly of Rovers in the academy. He had a good couple of seasons for us then. He's also on the bench. Campbell as well. Tyrese Campbell was a handful, but of course I think he's coming back from fitness. So interesting team news from both sets of teams. What are your thoughts about what I've just told you there with regards to that? Surprised, or not too doesn't change your opinion one way or the other?
No, I mean I guess it's to be expected, really. Obviously, it's not been good enough at Stoke. I think they were obviously hoping for a playoff push potentially this season, and I think, like you said, the caretaker manager's kind of sending out a message that what he's seen hasn't been good enough, I guess. So I expect the players who are getting their chances today to play the socks off. And yeah, probably makes it even harder, I guess, the fact with all these changes, with players hungry to come into that team and prove themselves, I guess.
Yep. What else is going on? Of course, yeah, we briefly talked about Corker again. Let's go back a little bit about the transfers. We did talk about Diaz a little bit. Where do you think he's going to end up? Do you think he's going to remain in England? Do you think he will go abroad, or what do you think the end result of Brereton Diaz's time at Rovers? Where's he moving on to?
It seems like Everton's the obvious one at the minute. I think as soon as that Anthony Gordon deal gets over the line, I think Diaz will be snapped up within a day or two of that, in my opinion. I think, according to what I've seen, the board kind of fancy Diaz. That he's kind of in their visions and stuff like that. They give the old go on that. They're just waiting to see whether Lampard agrees, whether he wants him in his team, I guess. So I don't know. Like I said, I think once they get that money in from Gordon, like 60, 70 mil being chucked about for him, I think they'll come in for Diaz, and we need to use that into our hands. To be honest, if they're getting 60, 70 million from Chelsea for Anthony Gordon, I'd be bumping the price tag up by at least a couple million.
I hope so. I hope Rovers have got that mindset as well, and yeah, there's been consistent interest. It might have gone a little cold for a while, but I'm hoping there's a little bit of a bidding war, and we do get closer to the 20. But of course, I would be just happy with 15. If we can guarantee 15 in our hands, and then maybe some incentives layered in there. Of course, I'll get to your score prediction in a second. I'm just going to go over the Twitter here with some score predictions. Sparky 82, 2-0 Rovers, Diaz and Galley. That was, of course, before the team news came out. Ryan Oddie's with a 2-1 win for the Blues. Fraser Kirkpatrick with a 3-1 win for Rovers. John Robson going with a 3-0 win for today. A lot of people very, very confident. I don't like that. Chris UK 23 with a 4-0 win for Rovers. Tom Crude with a 2-0 win. Got Galley and Dak. And of course, in the chat, we've got Jack FC 2-1 Rovers, Baltimore Rovers. I think he did ping me one actually on the Twitter. I think he went 2-1 to Rovers, Dak and Dak. Gary Gorner's Goy Pry 2-2 draw. K Skiffgaff with a 2-1 win for Rovers. Andrew Watt with a 3-1 win. Overpriced to me, he says. What do you think, Jacob Ward, who's going to be there? And hopefully with a vlog, fingers crossed, with a vlog. What is your score prediction for today against Stoke City with a potential new manager bounce?
Yeah, I hate to be pessimistic, but I've gone with a 1-1 draw, which, I could have quite easily gone with a loss, to be honest. Obviously, two really poor results in the league, but I think being at home will see us get a draw, I would hope. Obviously, we lost to Stoke at home last season, so there's no reason why we couldn't lose. But yeah, I think with the players obviously not playing for the manager, it seems, and now that he's gone, we, like you said in one of your pre-game things, this just always seems to happen to Rovers, what's rather annoying. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw, and I would have gone for a win if Michael O'Neill was still at the helm, but I can see the players giving a reaction and probably playing their socks off today.
Yep. I agree. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Rovers. I know I will celebrate a win big time because I think the odds or the I don't know, the stars are aligned against us to get a result here today. That's what my vibe is. But I'll be very, very happy if we could do that. But Jacob, I appreciate you stopping by today. Of course, you're down there at Ewood, and not the greatest reception in the world, but I appreciate it. I'll let you get cracking and enjoy the game atmosphere, get soaked up, maybe even having a drink or two. But of course, don't forget press record. So I appreciate it. Any closing comments before we bow out?
No, yeah, likewise. If we get a win today, I'll be made up with that. I think it's going to be a tough game, and let's hope Diaz can see us off with a goal if he is on his way out. I would love to chant Diaz one more time.
Yeah, and he is from Stoke, so maybe that'll be the perfect finale. For the Chilean Harry Kane. So I appreciate Jacob. I'll let you get out of here, of course. Thanks again, and we'll hear. Make sure you give Jacob Ward a night out. Vote. So the Football Content Awards. Vote. Do us all a favour and give him and the rest of the crew a night out in Manchester, I think. So appreciate it, Jacob. I'll let you get out of here. Of course, Alexander Haven, of course, 2-1 win for Rovers in the chat. And yeah, just on the screen now, you'll see the graphic. Kaminsky between the sticks. We've got Dranky Costello, Phillips, Ayala, Morton, Pickering, Travis, Buckley, Dak, Smodic, Diaz. Interesting. Smodic. You know, people said you can't play Lampard and Gerrard together. You can't play Smodic and Dak together. Well, guess what? We're going to find out if we can. That's happening, of course. Stoke's lineup when it comes on the screen here will be interesting to see. Well, we already know. Bottom between the six, Wilmot, Taylor, Flint, Fox, Clucas, Baker, Thompson, Brown, Delap and Gale. No Bursic. Bizarro world. I don't know what's in that. He's on the bench, so maybe a statement sort of stuff. You know, if you were given the reins for one time only and you want to kind of put your little stamp on it, well, guess what? The Dean Holden is doing it as well. We need FM players, Baltimore Rovers. We do need FM. You can swear, guys. I don't give a rat's ass. You can swear your socks off. Just be not too crazy. But yeah, we are getting players. Players are arriving, and of course, we look like we're going to get a buy one get one free kind of deal with our defenders, which is great. You know, I'll give you my take on it. Jacob, of course, gave his take on it, and of course we value that as well. So yeah, my take on the deals in a second. Let me just try and clean this up a little bit here and get rid of the graphic there. So my take on the potential deals, yeah, of course, Dominic Hyam was never in my focus whatsoever. So that has come out of nowhere, but it's a good. Looking back at his stats, looking back at, of course, his age, and of course what we're getting in there. We're getting a leader, we're getting a talisman, we're getting somebody, a no-nonsense defender who's earned his spurs with Coventry. Of course, working his way up the football ladder, and of course, working his way up the football ladder, and now a namestay, a key linchpin in that Coventry back line. The business sense of it seems pretty good. A good strategic sort of business there for Rovers. A lump sum of 1.5 with, of course, layered with add-ons and you know, maybe percentage increases or sell-ons or whatever it is. So it's a good bit of business, I think, for Rovers in bringing him in. I'm happy. Of course, we kind of missed the boat on a couple of. Am I happy with a Dominic Hyam deal against the Ben Davies deal? Probably. I think if I was offered one of those two with the amount of wages and the loan of Davies compared to a full-time deal with Dominic Hyam, you betcha. I think we got the better deal. Did we miss out on Anil Hanovic? Yes, we did. That one, of course, we missed the boat on that. Money talk there. I think, of course, if you're choosing, if Anil Hanovic, of course, now of Sheffield United, formerly of Malmo, had a decision, same wages. The locations, of course, wherever they are, and the managers, of course, John Don Thompson and Paul Heckingbottom. Of course, I think Anil Hanovic goes to Rovers, but you know, working with Paul Heckingbottom with an extra couple of zeros on your pay packet, that of course is what won the deal there. So worried about Phillips at the back, Dirk, a little bit, especially with that trio of Brown, Gale, and Delap. I think it could be quite interesting. Hopefully, we're going to be the ones in the driving seat, and the back line of us gets a bit of a respite. Hopefully, we're going to be on the attacking front, especially with Dak commanding in midfield. So let's see about that. Make sure you give it a like here on the stream. This is just the pre-game. We'll have the watch along in about 30 minutes time right here at Blackburn Rovers, of course, so make sure you go. I am wearing this probably for the last time. I'll probably continue to wear it, but Diaz, of course. Get it while you can. It is one of my only bit of merch right now, so make sure you check it out somewhere, wherever it is. I've sold a couple. You know who. Appreciate it. Of course, make sure you vote. Give Haven a night out. Long train ride up to Manchester. Give him a night out. Give Jacob Ward a night out. Give him Millie a night out. And of course, anybody else from the Roverseas Mafioso can join them within restrictions. Of course, I'm not going to suddenly take on a whole bunch of mafiosos to go for a night out. But anyway, what else? So we got hopefully Diaz can do this. The Corker deal, again, you know, initially I was like, I wasn't bowled over by that potential bit of business. I thought, you know, free transfer, yes. there's a player in there, and I'm hoping that he's coming with the realization that he will probably be back up. That's what I'm hoping. He will get games. Of course, the championship is demanding. You know, we got 2 games a week pretty much from here to the end of the season, and we are still in the cup as well. So it's going to be a tough old thing for him to break in the first team. But he is left-footed. I did look at that earlier today. Told Jacob as we were prepping for this pre-game show. You know, Wharton's left-footed, and of course, a Corker would be left-footed. So you know, it makes it for a good bit of a rotation there. Of course, if Wharton picks up an injury or suspension, we'll have a like-for-like in Stephen Corker coming in there, and he could come in and he could actually probably make a go of it, make a crack for it. He's still a prime age. I think he's 30 or 31. Let me actually. I never did a video on him, but let me have a quick look at him. He's 31, I think. He'll be 31 in the 29th of December. Played for England. 1 cap, 1 goal. How many times can you say that? He's also played for Sierra Leone as well. Been at Liverpool. Been at Spurs. He's got pedigree, of course, but he's also been up and down the football ladder, and of course been playing in Turkey for the past 4 years. So yeah, Blackburn should buy. No, we shouldn't. But anyway, so those deals are in the wings, and then there's a potential third deal coming in as well. Now I believe this is my vibe. My vibe is that there'll be 3 signings for Rovers, full-time signings, whether transfer or free transfer, or actually 3 transfers with money. That's my hope. And then maybe a couple of loanees as well, or a couple of free transfers as well. So that's what I'm hoping for. 3 signings. You know, we're talking about Dominic Hyam, maybe an attacker, especially with Diaz's scenario bubbling. You know, could it be Bowler? If we were to sell Diaz and bring in Bowler, you know, I think that would be good. That'd be an okay bit of business. It'd be good. But I don't think it's not really a replacement, because we need a striker, a forward, a guy who knows where the back of the net is, and that's a very tricky bit of business to do. If not Bowler, maybe that guy from Malmo, the older Slovenian or whatever his name is. So yes. Anyway, we will be live in about 30 minutes time right here as we do the watch along. Rovers against Stoke. Once again, big shout out to Blue Rose Capital, and of course make sure you vote. Cutley, in fact, I'll put it on the screen for you. Where is it? Vote. Cutley /vote Roverseas. You guys know what to do. Vote. Yeah, go. I'm going to hang on this image for at least 5 seconds. Cutley /vote Roverseas. Give bloody Jacob Ward and the gang deserve nights out. They do. They bloody well do. I won't be able to go, unfortunately. It's too. I can't make the trip. I'm already making a trip to Germany in about a month, less than a month. And then, of course, Christmas time, I'm going to go to, hopefully, go to England as well. So make sure you give these guys something for their efforts. And we're not trying to win it. Of course, we're not trying to win it. We're just trying to get recognised, get a bit of recognition out there for the platform, for the hard work. And if you are a regular for this platform, you will realise how many videos I bang out. I bang out a week. And it ain't just 2. We're talking 20, 30 videos a week. It's insane. When I say it out loud, I'm like, I'm doing too much. But hey, you know the demand. I've got to keep on feeding the demand. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll be back, of course, for the watch along in about 20, 30 minutes. Make sure you come on and check it all out. But until then, guys and girls, I'll leave you with this. And of course, I'll leave you with a bit of this, hopefully.